Esau.
Well, that is not a country paddock out there. It's Woodville Oval. This is the start of round 16, and the Eagles are hosting the Norwood Football Club this afternoon in what is a big, big bog. And the first free kick is going to the legs. They come from the centre, number 20. There's Roger James, named on interchange, but seemingly starting in the middle. It goes to half forward, a little bit of flew around for both sides. Well caught. Coming charging through there was Dillon. He was well claimed though. Expect a bit of that from McIntosh today on the handball to Davey into half forward. Picked up beautifully by Bailey. Make the most of it though while that ball is dry and usable. Cunningham to Davey, around the body. Here's James again, bit easy Macca. Just held off on it to Robinson. Quick kick forward by Harvey. If they could get an early start, it would be a beauty for them. The handball to Rowe is excellent and they get the first. The Redlegs are away.
Great start for the Norwood side. They started well on the wing there, used the handball very well, but good teamwork and good setup. As we see here, Harvey quick onto the boot, going forward. Good clean possession over to Rowe, and Rowe just does not miss those goals. Running in, only 15 metres out, and brings up Norwood's first goal.
Good handball by McIntosh in the midfield just to hang on. And then he found the runner, and it opened everything else, Ken Sheldon, for a very good goal.
Certainly did. 1 goal Norwood, the Eagles yet to score. The bounce, the throw up there, the way they compete down into the mud, and I think it'll be another ball up. It is very muddy here at Woodville. Thrown up again by the umpire. They compete again. It is Bailey, and again another ball up. Now, free kick given, flicked out to McClure, flicks it out to space, kicks it wide. Filippo leads in the race, but very well taken and kicked forward by the Eagles in front. Brilliant. And they compete for it. Colville in. James clever with the footy, gets his boot to ball back into the midfield, but it is sitting there. The big fellow, the big ruckman, sits back there in Doug Bailey, puts the ball wide to Filippo again, but well intercepted. Donald Dickey spoils the ball, picked up by Pays, back into, and oh, great spoil, magnificent smother. But they're backing up well, the Eagles. Tremendous play. Back into Bailey again, featured well, kicks the ball long to the goal square. Back there, Daniels read it well and settles the ball for Norwood.
He's played well, Bailey, early, hasn't he? 3 or 4 possessions. Speaking of possessions, James.
And James has figured in his second possession. That one again, missing the target. Picked up by Davey. Well done through to Giorgio. Giorgio links and puts the ball long to centre half forward as Reed leads to the ball. Crumbs a Rowe. Magnificent again, Rowe. Reading it well. On the left, on the right. Plenty of time. Bad handball intercepted. Cleaned up by the Eagles. Dropped by Dillon. Picked up again by the Eagles. Great pressure by the Norwood forwards. Flicked out. Giorgio has run magnificently from half-back flank to kick another one for the Norwood side. Magnificent play by John Giorgio, linking from half-back. Second goal on the board for Norwood.
Great effort here. I'm sure Peter Rowe to be happy with his forward line. The way they just kept it and bottled up in that forward with some good hands. But Norwood had the numbers around the ball and finally finished up with Giorgio, who ran down from the wing, had the first possession, started that forward thrust, and that brings up Norwood's second goal.
So 2 goals. At the 3.5 minute mark, the Eagles are yet to score on their home deck, if you could call it a deck. Harvey, pretty well caught. It's tough and tight in there. McIntosh is in there, so too is Harvey. And we'll have another bounce down.
Norwood are favoured by a slight advantage with the breeze. It's around about a couple of goals, so they really can't afford, the Eagles can't afford Norwood to get the next score.
Well, the heavier the ball gets, the less influential that breeze is going to be, is it? Laid down, James gets it from the ground. Really needed to take it there, Sheldrick, and he missed it. In the meantime, it's gone to Cunningham, who waits the kick beautifully. Spear was right on to Reed, though, and didn't allow him a good access at the footy. Still in there working, though, Reed. Works it out. Series of handballs to Miller, and the big fellow puts it right up to within scoring range. In fact, he's done better than that. He's kicked the Redlegs third.
Just numbers around the ball at the moment for the Norwood side. Every time they've gone forward in numbers. As we can see here, he had 2 or 3 options. the Norwood player. Finally, Miller around his body, over his shoulder, amongst about 3 or 4 Eagles players, puts it on his boot and kicks Norwood's third goal and brings up his first.
Gee, 3 in 5 minutes.
Good start by Norwood.
The Eagles want to be careful, don't let it slip.
3 goals straight Norwood, yet to score the Eagles. Umpire Jeff Jeans throws the ball into the air. They compete strongly for it in midfield again. It is Rowe who clears his third possession early in this game. The big fellow Miller competing for it in the air. Well picked up Zilla. He's down there with...
Good decision by the umpire. Miller came in pretty hard, pretty tough, and gave away a free kick. It's Jason Zilla, who loves it muddy, loves it dirty, loves to get his fingernails dirty early, which you can see.
This really will be, no question, his type of day as he kicks the ball long to centre wing, looking for Sam Filippo. Bowman competes, the ball comes to ground. Filippo picks it up, a tremendous tackle by Harvey. Really held him up well, and umpire Jeans comes in again to ball up. Probably the 5th ball up so far, or throw up in the early parts of this game.
6 minutes gone in this first term. And the Eagles needing just to man up and give themselves a chance here. They've slowed it down for the moment. That free kick's been given away. The umpire surprisingly let it play on. Giorgio to centre half forward. Well done, Dylan. Sat back, played the percentage and took it on the chest. Now his kick towards half-back flank is taken out there by Simpson. And his short pass finds a player as well. Some pretty good pressure there on Browning by Clements. But Browning's going to take it and thump it towards the middle of the ground. Now, it doesn't carry very far. You'll see a bit of that. Bailey played beautifully early. And they go diagonally across the ground. Not particularly useful. Still a long way from home. Dan Tokia doesn't make many mistakes, does he? To Miller. And the big fellow can't quite take that one. Off hands is McIntosh. Another handball for him to Dickey, who throws it right across the top, 25 metres to Harvey. It wasn't Harvey running into that goal. Player picking him up in the moment. Kenneth was
Cunningham.
And ABC scored. The score is 3-1, and the Eagles are yet to score.
Jason Sphere kicks out, finds his target wide. Well done, the little back pocket player there as he turns onto the right foot, kicks the ball long to half-back flank. It was a good kick from Pearce. Zilla crumbed it well into Bailey again. Pays linking. Started into midfield, Pays. Kicks the ball long to half-forward flank. It's competed. Picked up by Pesh. Crumbed well at the front and square. Back to Filippo. Over to Pays. Misses the target. But coming through well as McClure. Left-hand handball up off the deck to Pays. Got plenty of time. Goes long for the goals. And unfortunately for the Eagles is far astray, out on the full, in fact.
Good running there by Pays. Just kept linking up with the players outside, but as you said, he had the time. Just really didn't accelerate when he first got hold of the football.
Daniels brings it back into play. Zilla at the bottom of the pack. So too is Davey, and it goes across the line. Well, the Eagles haven't had many entries so far. They needed to make more of that one. And they missed the opportunity. 8 minutes and 20 seconds gone. Filippo, excellent last week against South Adelaide down at Noarlunga. How's the umpire seen that one? He's paid another free kick, so there's plenty on offer at the moment early in this game. Stephen Rowe's going to be the beneficiary. Stop messing around, boys. Just get it up. Get on with it. Stephen Rowe, 158 games. Vice-captain now, former Crow. Gets under it and kicks it high to centre wing. Miller also got under it. Tyson. The Eagles push it forward. Rose in the front spot. Didn't he snare that nicely? Absolutely beautifully done. The run from Giorgio to Dickey, and he easily gets around a player. I might suggest to you too easily because it allowed him to get within 30 metres. Player attacking the football, couldn't quite take it. Was Nathan Bassett, who's had the clippers to the hair from the ground. Pesh picks up. He's also under pressure. You never get past Macca. Now Spear. Oh, they're in all sorts of trouble. Macca still in there working hard. Distributes it wide to Dickey. Around the body. And now within about 15, but the Eagles should be able to pick it off. And despite messing it up, they run it across the line.
Once again, we see that Norwood forward line working very hard to keep that ball in their area. Some good gang tackling as well.
Thrown in deep in the forward pocket for the Norwood side. They compete in the air, over the top, brilliant for Norwood, down to McIntosh on the left foot, but back to Cunningham, who flicks it to Giorgio, sitting perfectly in the spot. Has a shot, he's second, but he is astray. The second point, registered for the Norwood side.
Yeah, Giorgio working hard at the moment, covering a fair bit of territory, bobbing up deep in the back lines, and as we've seen a couple of times early in this game, there's an opportunity to kick a couple of goals.
The Eagles aren't really putting it on them, are they? The Norwood tackles are spot on, and the Eagles at the moment are letting them get through too easily. Stephen Hall brings that one back into play. Number 2. I think it's not number 2. It looked like Sheldrick across the far side there, so it might have been a jumper change for him. Spoiled forward, beautifully done also to Miller. Miller to Cunningham, back to Miller. Can he get his second? He was a little off balance, and Hall desperately gets the fingertips to it.
There's been a little bit of a lack of voice out there, because Miller had the time, had no players in front of him, could have just steadied himself, found a bit of green grass, which there isn't too much out here on Woodville Oval today, especially down that end, the end that Norwood are going to, but an opportunity there to bring up his second.
Ball into Dillon wide, but unfortunately for the Eagles, it goes out on the full, and it will be Thiessen to line up with the shoulder coming over his, with the wind coming over his right-hand shoulder. So he should be able to register. In fact, he's a very sharp shooter, should be able to register.
We can't see why Dillon went sideways across the face of goals. I have no idea why he had any intention going that way, especially when they're under pressure. The ball was loose. He should have just turned around and kicked it long.
Perceived pressure.
Well, Norwood are, as we were saying before, putting a lot of pressure on them.
It's the ball up into the goal square and punched through by Sheldrick in a change of Guernsey, as mentioned by Stephen Trigg, wearing number 2 for the Eagles. Left-handed spoil through for another behind for the Norwood side. 3 goals for 22. Eagles yet to score.
Hall, a little poke to
he
himself.
missed that.
It would have been a disaster, wouldn't it? To the far side they go. They just need something to happen. They're getting creamed at the moment. The Redlegs, 60%, 70% of possessions. Bowman slides into it. Wrong game. Baseballer. Taken by Rogers. Now to within about 60 metres. A good take, a tough take. Taken by Morford, who's their leading goal scorer so far. Rogers on the backup. The pass is neat and tidy, and David Neiman's butchered it. Put it to ground. There's still a half a chance, though, to Filippo. Norwood tackling's too good, though. Colville. Browning. Hands off to Zilla. Now, can they score this time? Good mark. Well, was it completed? Yes, I heard a whistle. Finally, they get a chance.
He was lucky to take that one, but the Eagles were under so much pressure. We just see here Norwood really are putting a lot of pressure, but a lucky decision by the umpire there. Didn't really have control of the football.
David Ugrinik approaches goal, puts it, and the wind doesn't bring it back as he would like. In fact, it hardly made the distance, and it was punched through for a behind for the Norwood side. Their first register for the game.
He was not happy with himself. Why? Well, he shouldn't be either, because that should have been a goal.
Dan Tokia kicks off and finds quite simply on his own number 25 Troy Clemens for Norwood, who passes on further to the half-back flank. Robertson brings it inboard. Harvey sitting there linking well, or Cunningham it is. They look very much alike, those two. Bombs the ball forward, but well read. Sheldrick puts the ball to ground, flicks it out. Giorgio intercepts. They compete again with picked up and kicked on by Pesha. Sloppy kick, and it is marked quite easily by Cunningham. Wasn't marked, wasn't allowed, but a sloppy tackle by the Eagles.
Yeah, free kick given. I think it was only the pressure that made the ball spill out anyway, the physical impact. So a deserved free kick. So half forward they go. The pick-up was pretty good, wasn't it? That's Thiessen, and the short pass just a little too short. Reed, around he goes. Norwood's top goal scorer so far, to within about 15, perhaps 10 metres of goals, and they rush it through for another behind. So 8 scoring shots at 3-5 to 1 behind. The Norwood side are absolutely in control.
Norwood are just handling these conditions a lot better than the Eagles at the moment.
Sphere kicks off to himself, left-footed kick wide to the flank. It's a sloppy kick, and the wind grabs it and takes it out on the full. So the second one to go over the line on the full for the Eagles. They are kicking against a very strong breeze in the opening quarter.
Well, you'd have to understand then why he kicked it to himself for. I have no idea why he did it for. Just put himself under pressure, had players in front of him. There's no reason to kick it like that.
Kick back long into the goal square and punch through for another behind for the Eagles. 3 goals, 6, 24. leading the Eagles, 1 point. The Norwood side well in control of this game.
And I think that frustrates me is the runner hasn't gone out to the player, just to let him know that he's made a mistake.
Well, part of the theory, of course, is that you assume the player knows he's made a mistake, but
still needs to be told.
Gee, they're making some fundamental mistakes at the moment. That's the problem. Great mark to Harvey. He really is a class act.
Well, they really are just attacking the ball, and there's a great example.
Now Harvey, it looks like he wants to have a crack at it. A late inclusion in the state game and played beautifully late in the day. 32 games at the legs. Launches at it from about 50. Pretty ambitious, I thought, right to the line, and Neiman, who's been swung into ruck to get them something going. And to give Bailey a break, it goes through for another behind. 10 shots now to 1.
Yeah, Harvey's been one of their better players this year. He's been their top 2 or 3. Been very consistent. I think that's what Peter Road has been fortunate this year, that he has had a few players that have had good seasons and have very consistent seasons.
Oops.
Sphere kicks off to Pearce, inboard to Dillon. Dillon marks the ball, goes back on his mark. Is well held up by McIntosh and Rowe. He's looking undecided as to where to go. Drives the ball to the members' wing, looking for Hugh Grinick, but in front James, spilled to the ground, and it is forced over for a boundary throw-in on centre wing. Over on the full, in fact, as deemed by the boundary umpire, and Bowman will take the kick. He drives the ball to centre half forward, looking for, and well intercepted Neiman, who has shifted from full forward into the ruck as called by Stephen Trigg.
Mark, the question is, would the Eagles be able to utilise the breeze, or is it just a matter of being first at the ball at the moment?
They're just not attacking the ball hard enough at the moment, nor are really creating every opportunity. These 50-50 contests, nor are winning hands down, but it's got to get more aggressive at the football and also at the player.
It doesn't matter what the breeze is doing, does it? If you're second to the ball, you're going to get nutted. Colville, they're doing some ridiculous things at the moment. Absolutely ridiculous. As Spear gets it, the space is okay, but they're just going sideways.
And they're trying to hold possession at the moment, Stephen.
And in some ways, far too laterally, as we've seen twice, they've kicked out of bounds on the full at half back. Zilla. Maybe a bit too defensive, Mark, as it goes to Harvey across the top. He finds Stephen Rowe, and again the numbers.
Look at the numbers, 4 or 5 around the ball, every opportunity. Look
precisely.
At that.
Very typical of the first quarter. 4 Norwood jumpers running. Sheldrick, that handball was okay. They work it out. Colville, with that burning red hair, turns and puts it within about 40. Bailey, one hand, no good. Zilla, Dantokia, and again they clear.
They clear to Harvey. Harvey's dives at the ball, launches himself again. It's a great contest out there, flicked up by the Eagles into Filippo. Filippo well tackled. Dantokia well tackled, high in fact, and a free kick will be rewarded to the Norwood back pocket player. He settles himself on half-back for the Redlegs. Kicks the ball long to the outer wing. Looking for Miller, a great mark, tremendous mark. Presented himself, flicks it on wider to Rowe. Rowe just kicks the ball as quick as he can into the open space where Reid leads to the ball. Well held up and well tackled. Tremendous tackle. Colville flicks the ball through to Christensen, who's now back in defence on McIntosh. Puts the ball long and well taken by Morford. Turns on his natural left but runs into trouble. Puts the ball wide to the pocket. Looking for somebody. No one there. Stephen Daniels, the Redlegs full back. Pushes the ball for the high tackle. Surely called play on by the umpire and a goal results. The first goal kicked by the Eagles into the breeze. Kicked by Filippo. Very, very dubious, that one.
Dubious in what way?
Well, I thought the tackle was very high.
Yes, the replay will show here the Nord player was taken very high. He's done the right thing. He's gone to ground. Had the players, the Eagles players, come in pretty hard. But watch this. All over the top of him. Here it comes, on the shoulder, pulls him down, and that was Rogers. Filippo, the ever opportunist, picks it up and brings up the first goal for the Eagles, and a much-needed one.
Well, wasn't it needed? And I think your call's right, Kenneth. Just a little too high over Bowman and a bit lucky, but at 3-7 to 1-1. I wouldn't say they're back in business, but certainly they're in touch, and they'll have that breeze in the second term. A little sleight of hand allows Harvey to come from the centre square. Clements it was, and a big pack of players in the mud. And the umpires will do this a bit. They'll find some free kicks and try and get it out of that bog.
The change as it has been made. Esau has come off. The big fella with the helmet, Aaron Keating, has come on.
Keating, so very influential. And speaking of influence, wasn't that a grand effort to try and take the mark down there by Adam Pearce? Yes, Keating was excellent last week in demolishing Port Adelaide. And Cunningham
Another good pickup for the Norwood boys this year.
He's playing a blinder. Neiman. Bit hard to get around, David. 105 kilograms of him. Maybe a bit more even. Pierce to the middle of the ground, a little up and under. I reckon an 8-iron might have gone further because the wind is holding it up. Rowe to Giorgio. Left leg, he's awkward. He's pretty accurate. Straight through. Norwood get their fourth. 4-7 to 1-1.
For the third time this quarter, they kicked 4 goals. For the third time this quarter, you've seen a player run in with no pressure, little or no pressure at all, as we can see here. Good, quick hands over top. Rowe shares it beautifully over to Georgia, but just no pressure by the Eagles players, with too many Norwood blokes running in numbers, running to support and sharing the ball beautifully. But that's Giorgio's second goal and brings up the Norwood's fourth.
Atlanta, Giorgio.
Yeah.
Norwood 4 goals, 7-31, leading the Eagles. 1 goal, 1, 7 points. Umpire Jeff Jeans throws the balls in the air. Keating competes, wins it with the right hand down. Rowe comes through, but it's held up well. Zilla with his hands on the ball along with about
the top of his head.
I'd love to be in
hands
there.
on him. These are the
Have a
days.
look at him.
These are the days you just love, aren't they?
Who's a bit of war paint.
The ball.
Set him off for the mud rule.
The ball thrown up again in the centre of the ground. Keating again with his extra height. Left-handed slaps the ball forward, and again a ball up will result.
Now one quiet player at the moment, Ken, has been Gary McIntosh. I only seen him have a couple of handballs, yet to have a kick.
He started in the midfield, went for a little rest up in the forward line.
He's only had about 8 handballs.
And now he's back again in the midfield, having a great duel with Pays at this early stage of the game. Pays is doing likewise. Went
What's
to
happening with the umpires here? He's coming off, is he? Whoops. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So we've only got 2 umpires out there at the moment, fellas. Can they cope without the third one?
Well, I don't think the speed of the game's going to bother them much today, but it's a good mark by Miller at centre-half forward.
Was a good mark, and he really is having an influence at centre-half forward. Big Jason Miller played very well in the state game earlier in the month and really is looking to have a big impact on this game.
It's tough, isn't he? He's a tough, hard, nuggety type of play. He's played centre-half forward. Started at centre-half back at the start of the year. It was very hard there, but gee, he's a good-looking player.
His approach to goal, he kicks the ball off the inside of the boot, but leading to the front of the tremendous play. Great anticipation by Nathan Bassett with his haircut there. Left footer will find this difficult. Perhaps the check side. He approaches goal, good approach, but no, he misses it completely right across goal, out on the full. The Eagles will clear.
You either kick those or kick them out in the full, don't you?
Or you kick a point.
Or you kick a point. You've got 3 options, but they are. Some players just got that knack of being able to get that banana ball to work beautifully.
I knew that's one of the reasons we've got you in comments, Mark Nailey, because they're always deft and incisive. 3 options. You get it, you don't. Goes out of bounds. This is Zilla. Sweeps it wide, and the Eagles, a rare piece of movement through centre wing, but gee, that ball is holding up, so they'll get a chance with the breeze in the second term. James, oh, it's tough to take in a slosh. McIntosh hasn't had many kicks, as Mark said, but he's been pretty influential. Spoiled forward. They're getting everywhere in the right place at the moment. Clements back to Giorgio. Do you think he's not having a field day at the moment? He's tackled though and should be, and is holding the ball.
Had an opportunity, the first thought to give it away. Had a player in support there, but he thought, hang on, third goal, I want to kick 2. Opportunity to kick my third.
Zilla kicked the ball to Christensen and looking for Filippo. Filippo presenting a good target for the Eagles into this breeze. He's having to run far and wide to get his possessions. Turns Bowman inside out, kicks the ball to centre-half forward, and Donald Dickey playing on the wing. Read that very, very well for the Norwood side. Kicks wide to Cunningham on the members' wing. Cunningham goes back, number 16 for the Redlegs. Had a big influence so far in the game, along with a few of his smaller teammates. Kicks the ball long to the half-forward line. Keating, magnificent attempt to mark, but read well by Zilla in the front of the pack. Picked up again by Filippo, having a big influence for the Eagles, but none on the scoreboard for his team. McClure through to Christensen, leaves the ball behind in the mud patch. McClure on the left, looks for space and finds Pays. More luck than good management, I guess, but possession with the Eagles. Pays goes back, has Rogers running wide for him, but looks for Ugrinic. Ugrinic and James will compete. Keating, the big fellow, dives on the ball, puts it to Dan Tokyo. Dan Tokyo clears with the right foot.
Essendon did pretty well. I thought that Keating might have thrown that one out of there. But the umpire's called play on, and how's he going to see that? Holding the footy. Now, the Eagles have pushed the ball wide in an attempt to slow the game down and try and keep it out of business, but I reckon they'd be better off picking up Giorgio, Cunningham and McIntosh, man for man, and see if they couldn't just close down their manufacturing plant. Pays, Bowman, just a spoil on the second attempt by Philippa, and the ball goes out of bounds. What do you think about that?
Yeah, really, I mean, they've just had too many players running through the midfield at the moment. Norwood have. The Eagles, a goal here before quarter time will make it a very interesting second quarter.
Thrown in on the half-forward flank for the Eagles. Keating down to a congested pack, and another throw-in, or ball up, I should say, will take place. And it is umpire Craig Doddridge who will throw the ball into the air. Yes, up it goes. Keating with the left hand puts it down. They compete again. Keating on hands and knees. Everybody in there. And again, another throw-up will eventuate. There'll be a great deal of this throughout today's game, but I agree with you. Through the centre corridor, Giorgio has had 3 shots for goal, kicked 2 goals, 1, and that's perhaps the difference in the game. Thrown up again, Keating with the right fist, forces it to the boundary. They compete in there again, yet congestion, and another ball up, the 3rd or 4th in such, a couple of minutes, Stephen?
Certainly not getting a string of possessions together. For all that, the ball's moved around for most of the game, but yes, the last 60 seconds we've had plenty of bouncing down. What happens, the umpire generally finds a free kick here sometime shortly if they don't clear it out. The boundary line beckons and McIntosh has found it. I was just thinking, you know, Giorgio's been terrific, so too has Cunningham. McIntosh has been excellent. You've got James, you've got Growden, you've got Dickey in good form. In a couple of weeks they'll add Jarman. They're going to take some tossing the legs around the body. This is Christensen. He kicks forward. They're behind. It's very difficult from there, but Colville gives it to Pays. Hurriedly around the body. The numbers are with Norwood again. Off hands, Bailey. What can he do? New Grinnick. Can they do it off hands? No, it's off a red leg boot, I fear.
Still in.
And out of bounds.
There's plenty of pressure again applied by the Eagles players. They realise it's getting pretty close to quarter time. They need another goal on the board. But Norwood's defence just stood still, stood strong.
Thrown in deep in the forward pocket for the Eagles. They compete. Keating taps it down, picked up. Oh, I couldn't even see that many players who picked that many players at the fall of the ball. Very hard to see who actually had possession there, but a throw-up will eventuate. 10 metres, 12 metres out from the Eagles' goal. Keating again down, having a big influence in the ruck, and they dive on the pill yet again, and another throw-up will take place. I think we're going to say this quite a few times throughout the course of this day, Stephen.
Was that and or pill or which? Just a bounce down, you mean? Yeah, there's plenty of it.
Now, I've got to take you to task there. You call it a bounce down, but they haven't bounced it once.
Fair enough. Don't be so pedantic. We'll have a look at the second term on ABC Sport in just a moment. At quarter time at Woodville Oval, this round 16 clash between the Eagles and Norwood, and the Legs are in front by 24 points, 4-7 to 1-1.
Second quarter here at the Woodville Oval. It is Norwood by 24 points, 4 goals, 7 leading the Eagles 1-1. Umpire Jeans throws it up in the air. Keating down to McIntosh. They compete hard for it, and yet again another bounce down will take place.
A bounce down or a throw up?
Stirring up Stephen. Jeff Jeans, umpire, throws the ball into the air. They compete again, and it again looks very congested in there. And yet another ball up will take place.
I can never understand why umpires do not pick the ball up, walk out of this muddy quagmire and find some green grass.
We're on Port Road.
Competed, Keating the ruckman competes himself, and again, no, pulled one out of the blue there as umpire Jeff Jeans to McIntosh. Up he gets. Look, what colour is that man? The crowd are laughing. It is quite funny, actually. I'm not sure how he's going to kick this ball. Either's he as he wipes the ball on his jumper. Bang with a left foot barrel. Forward it goes, but reading it well, Marty Christensen.
Actually, he's in a bit of trouble, Macri. He can't see. He's calling for the towel. And somebody just around him said, turn around this way and just run in a straight line. I'll tell you when you get to the footy.
Hey, if he dries out today, he won't be able to move. He'll be like the Tin Man.
That's right. When
the Wizard of Oz.
When the mud dries off, he's going to have an awful amount of cracking. Oh, it's good fun, isn't it? To centre half forward. The Eagles, they need a score, and they need it pretty smartly just to give them a kick-start in this second term. It goes out of bounds on the far side. So no change to the score, 31 plays 7.
The Eagles need to fight back, need to bite back. Norwood had total command of that first quarter. It's an opportunity now for the Eagles with the advantage of a bit of a breeze, a couple of goals advantage. They need to get the first goal.
Great kick forward by McClure, spills to the ground. Rogers picks it up off the ground, turfs it forward, but all to no avail as it's held up yet again. And the umpire will throw the ball up at half forward for the Eagles. They really do need to kick an early one in this second quarter. Kicking with the breeze, being very important for their confidence to get a clean break. Cleared away from the Redlegs defence. The ball goes long. Miller sets himself. The ball comes to the front. Dived under it was Dillon. Picked up by Bailey, uses his strength, turns inside out, and maybe deemed holding the ball. Yes, he had his opportunity to get rid of it a number of times, and I think that's Anthony Harvey who clears the ball further wide for the Redlegs.
Dillon takes it, hands off to Pearce. The run is there from Ugrinnick, and Ugrinnick's kick goes up towards the 50-metre line. Morford is there. And they're messing around with it. And the Redlegs with Dan Tokia cruise it out. I think he was off. Yes, the umpire's waving his arms about.
Oh, no, umpire. We must have seen it. He took a step.
And so what should the decision be?
Took a step.
Holding the ball or throw it up?
No, holding the ball. Definitely holding the ball. Bad decision by the umpire.
Keating got it down. Davey will get on the end of it, but another free kick has been paid. And the Eagles will be on the end of it. Just a bit hard to know what for, but they'll end up with it at half-back left. And Clements will kick to centre wing. Now, Keating's had a bit of an impact so far. Payes has had some impact himself to centre half forward. And they've got some boys at some strange spots at the moment. Jason Spear looks to be playing at centre half forward, men.
Andrew Rogers on the wing at the moment.
They're playing two of them there, I think, Phillippo and Spear.
And Bassett, who started in attack, is now at centre half back. Kicks the ball wide to the outer wing. It is Cromwell with the Eagles. Picked up by Tyson back to Giorgio, but it's out of bounds and a throw-in will take place.
Did I hear you say that Rogers is on centre wing?
Yes, he is, standing Donald Dickey.
Well, leg speed perhaps, or
experience.
Just trying to close down Dickey, you think? Or shut him down?
Perhaps Dickey's on the half-forward flank, running, creating an open space for the Eagles, but he may be on the wing. And in any case, they play it very similar. Kicking against the breeze. The ball is marked well by number 25 for the Eagles in Browning. Out to the captain, Rogers. Back to Pearce, back to Browning. Turns his opponent inside out and uses the ball well to centre half forward to Phillippo, who has presented himself right in the slot. He's 50 metres out.
Yeah, good working by the Eagles. The first time they've gone forward, he's lifted his eyes. Browning lifted his eyes, saw Phillippo on the lead, executed the skill beautifully, gave every opportunity out in front to take the mark, and Phillippo didn't let the team down.
With this breeze, can he kick it? He approaches, he will kick from 55 metres. 50 metres perhaps. Yes, right on 50. The ball will land in the goal square. No, over the top it does carry, but inaccurate, unfortunately, for Sam Phillippo and his Eagles team. 1 goal, 2 the Eagles have on the board, and they trail.
That's two.
Dan Tocky to kick in for the Redlegs. Kicks to himself, as we've seen quite often here today, as both teams have played the zone. The ball goes long to the tall ruckman Keating, who doesn't let him down. It's called play on, picked up by Giorgio, forces it forward on the left. Christensen reading the ball well, dodges a couple of players, comes back inside, kicks the ball long, but it is Bassett who has stepped back and read it very, very well.
Charge has been made. Young Jason Spear has come off. Sean Hannum has come on for his first run for the day.
Norwood kick it from half-back. Backward of half-back to true half-back. It's tough to carry into the breeze. Rogers is at the bottom there, and that player Davey, who you saw a moment ago, number 7, is limping heavily. I reckon he's probably got one of those old-fashioned corkies, a bruised thigh, and he's coming off the ground. He'll be replaced by Trevor Growden. Now, Marty Dillon's on the far side, switched from South Adelaide and has had a pretty good impact other than a bit of injury with a perforated eardrum, I believe. Giorgio, quick kick. Pearce gets the free kick. Christensen should be allowed to play on, but no such thing as we see Davey limping rather heavily. Christensen. Yeah, get some ice, I think. Down they go, and they've found Sam Filippo.
Sam Filippo really is playing well at centre-half forward for the Eagles. Puts the ball out in front of his full forward in Neiman. It is picked up and crumbed by Morford. Turns on the left, gets a flick back to Neiman, but out of bounds. Good tackling by the Norwood defenders in Dan Tokia and Scott Robinson. The umpire to throw the ball in. The Eagles trailing by 23 points. Thrown in, Neiman collects the ball off. It's great smother by the Norwood defence. Kicked out by Growden. Reading the ball well is Sheldrick, wearing number 2 Guernsey as opposed to normal number 22. Dickey forces the ball with the left. Is well linked by the Redlegs as Harvey brings the ball looking inboard for Cunningham.
The Eagles at half-back. Pearce. Hall around the body. It's just not clean from the Eagles at the moment. They're trying some things that are out of the percentages. But that's a good mark taken by Filippo. Mark Naley nods his head with approval.
Strong grab here. Eyes for the football. The Norwood player really put a lot of pressure on him, but a good grab by Filippo.
Well, he's outside range, though. He had a shot from centre-half forward proper just a moment ago, and it was outside of range. In fact, I'll correct that. He carried, but with one goal, it's tough to add his second here. Certainly puts it to the square. And it gets spoiled through for a behind. So 4-7 plays 1-3.
The Eagles' work rate has increased. Just in those last couple of minutes, the players are starting to work a little bit harder, starting to run a bit harder and support their teammates.
Dan Tokia to kick out for the Redlegs, as he's done so often in his great career. The Eagles playing the zone defence. Dan Tokia elects to go long to the outer wing to Keating, who sets himself. The ball comes to the front. It is Rowe who has and copped the left uppercut as well. Not seen by the umpire, not deemed as...
Have a look at this. This is the best uppercut you've ever seen. Did it connect? We'll just wait and see. Bang! He's hit him. He's got him a beauty.
First time I've seen you excited for the day, Naley. Bailey gets it. He's kicked forward, taken by Rogers. And Rogers is having something of a calming influence through that line. I can guarantee you that. And Filippo's having a big influence and should get 25 metres.
Have one back, he says.
The umpire, what's he going to do? He's just going to sit it there. You're wrong, umpy.
This was the payback. Thank you. Thank you for coming today. Just take that one. Warm your ears up.
Filippo tried with a torpedo punt and it's hit the post. Another behind. So the Eagles are replicating what Norwood did in the first term. Very wayward. 4-7 to 1-4.
Yes, the Norwood side opened with a flurry of goals. 3, in fact, unanswered very, very quickly, but then kicked a number of points. Dan Tokia plays on. Kicks the ball long again, looking for Keating. They set themselves. Well done by Doug Bailey. Used his body well just to give himself a bit of a cushioning and take the mark out on the half-forward flank side. The left foot kick from Bailey goes in to centre-half forward. They set themselves. Colville, the red-headed dasher, in the front and square of the pack. Flicks it out. It is kicked a snapshot by Hannum, and unfortunately it goes wide and out on the full for the second time for the Eags.
Well, they're having a crack at it, Mark, but it's not coming off at the moment.
Keating's finally taken a mark. He's had about 5 or 6 opportunities to take the mark. Every time he goes for it, he puts his head down between his knees. That time, took it on the chest. Couldn't miss it.
Long way down with the head, by the way. Not sure that's the way to take the marks. Well, what are you talking about? Centre wing. Marty Dillon's going to get it. And the player's been stalled just for the moment. The ponytail's flapping in the breeze, as a famous commentator would say. And Keating has taken another good mark. And once more, he's kept his eye on the ball rather than between his knees, and he's taken it at centre-half back.
He's a real workhorse, Aaron Keating, and loves these conditions. Unfortunate with the kick, and well marked by Ugrinik. the fleet-footed Eagles wingman will have trouble in these conditions to show his pace. Kicks the ball long, is spoiled by the red leg defenders down to the front of the pack. They all emerge on the football, and a throw-up will take place yet again. 1 goal for the Eagles, kicking with the breezer, trailing the Norwood side, 4-7. Norwood off to a real good start in the opening minutes of the first quarter. The ball punched down, McClure tackled brilliantly, and again a ball up will take place.
Norwood's tackling has been excellent.
You should just see the half-time stats. You'd have to say 2 or 3 to 1 at least at this stage of the game. Norwood really have worked hard to drop the player to his knees.
Which is interesting because the Eagles have been great tacklers this year. They've built their game around it. Christensen, good mark in the hands. The ball's not slippery by any means. It's quite sticky, in fact, I imagine. So it's not that hard to take those. It's just that it's heavy. If you get it wrong, you'll break the fingers. And another dead ball.
Christensen playing well on the half-back flank now, is curbing the brilliance of Giorgio. Started on the wing, but Giorgio was electric, having 3 shots for goal, kicking 2 early in the first quarter. Another throw-up will take place. There must be 25 players around this throw-up. They compete down to the ground again, surely. A free kick will note. The umpire has done another throw-up. There's a bit of fisticuffs taking place, and a free kick may be given.
I wonder who's in there.
It's thrown up quickly by the umpire to sort it out. They compete. Morford takes it, left-hand handball down to Pesh. Pesh quickly to Christensen. Christensen wide in front, Bassett, but it comes over the back. He's allowed it through. Can't see the number of that player. Pays it was. Back to Pays. Pays all the time. Puts it on his left and finds McClure, who should really make this the second goal for the Eagles.
It's not a bad ploy, is it? Just tossed that ball up, and the lads soon finished with the fisticuffs.
Yes, they did. You've got to keep playing with the game, but well done by Pays. Had a second and third effort of that. It was very, very good, and just lifted his eyes and saw the young fella over the top.
McClure in his approach. It's a great kick for goal by the look. No, yes it is. It's a full points for the Eagles, and that's what it's all about. The umpire quickly, in his desire to get the play moving, thrown the ball up, and an Eagles goal results. Their second.
We'll just see here. You see Pays has his first effort here. Gets to his feet. Now, some players can just handle these conditions better than others, and Pays is one of them that can. He's there again in support. Just lifted the eyes, saw the player over the top. Very, very clever kick. Ends up with McClure bringing up his first goal for the day.
So at the 13-minute mark, the Eagles get a little bit back. 4-7 to 2-4. There's 15 points in it. The next score for Woodville West Torrens will mean that they're right back in business. Nick Pesh dives in over the footy. Haven't seen a lot of Nicky so far. Gavin Colville gets up, shakes the mud off the Redlegs by 15 points. This is round 16. And there's just a chance that they'll meet each other in the finals. Norwood look well set in second spot. The Eagles look well set in fourth. James to Cunningham. The spoiler's okay. Miller's first at the footy. Another dead ball. No, a free kick to Miller. So you get yourself first at the ball, you give yourself a chance. Jason Miller on the threshold of 50 games pushes it right up to half forward left. Christensen's there, and Giorgio, who, as we said, has been quietened but is still influential. That ball has hit a brick wall. And it goes towards the line, and the boys quieten it down. Well done by Rowe. Got it out towards Tyson. How good is he from the angle? And Andrew Rogers is everywhere. Takes a good mark.
Plays on to Pearce, who kicks the ball long to half-back and finds his teammate Ugrinnick playing well on the wing for the Eagles. Eagles player gets back quickly. He looks further upfield, nothing giving. He's holding possession, waiting for something to present himself. Elects to go long, looking for Filippo, who's been on fire, but in front Bowman on this occasion. McIntosh reads it brilliantly and puts the ball wide along the boundary. Picked up by Tyson, inboard to Giorgio. Giorgio on the left, the ball held up in the breeze. Reed sets himself, spoiled, and they emerge on the ball. Pesh tackled brilliantly again by Rowe. The tackling of the Norwood side really has been an outstanding feature.
Yes, we called it before that Norwood really are working hard to hold that team, that opposition side up, and they are doing it very, very well at the moment. They are tackling very, very well. Eagles, they have come back this quarter, Stephen.
Just the one goal scored, not far enough with the breeze. The problem is they really need to get themselves into a position where they They lead at half-time, having had the breeze and controlled Norwood to some extent in that first term. The boys are going to be tired by the end of this one. It's heavy, it's hard work. There's a pretty good crowd in enjoying this game and enjoying what sunshine there is after the deluge we had last night.
Thrown in on the half-forward flank for the Norwood side, kicking into the breeze, and a free kick is given to Miller, the big centre-half forward, taking the forward line ruck contest for his team. Handballs it into Cunningham, who plays on, looks for centre-half forward, where Reid sets himself, spills the mark, well read by McClure, through to Dickey through to Harvey back to Cunningham, who's followed up well, and Giorgio running to space ahead of the play, caught Christensen out, and Giorgio will line up for his third goal.
See, they're ending up with Georgia, but well done by the Norwood side. They just shared it again across that forward line, didn't panic. And we just noticed today, every time the side has gone forward and kicked the goal from a set position, that they have set it up beautifully, just lifted their eyes and just placed the ball for the player to take.
Really composed and cool with the football. Their usage has been tremendous in these difficult conditions. Giorgio lines up his approach. The wind brings it back very, very nicely. Third goal for John Giorgio, the fifth for the Norwood Redlegs. 5 goals, 7, 37. They are 21 points ahead of the Eagles. 2 goals for 16.
Reid nearly took that grab there, but well done by the Eagles player. But again, that Norwood tackling. See, we saw 2 tackles in that contest there, but well done by Cunningham, who started that forward thrust up. Have a look at the swing on this. Lovely little. Shane Warner be happy with that.
Really bent, didn't it? It was a good kick, well measured. And it gives Giorgio his third, back in the centre. 5-7 to 2-4. 21 points the difference. Rogers from close range. I think Zilla was expecting it. Again, Rogers, that one was a little softer on the hand and easier to take. Over the head of Dan Tokia. Players crunched the bottom of the pack there, the Eagle. Might have been Sam Philippo, I can't see where he is. No, Sam standing up. It was Morford who copped it. And Scotty Morford gets up licking his wounds.
Scotty Morford playing reasonably well for the Eagles. The ball is thrown up. Keating taps it out again. Picked up by Bowman, flicked on to Harvey, intercepted by McClure. Zilla back to McClure. Left-hand handball. Finds eventually Colville, another left-handed handball to Neiman. He's 70 out. He tries to barrel the torpedo, but sitting back is James. Well read, well intercepted. He understood what was happening there, the youngster, and uses the ball well to his captain in McIntosh on the half-back flank. McIntosh steadies himself. He'll certainly look forward to the showers tonight. He'll use a fair bit of soap, I would say, as well. He settles with the footy, left foot, sloppy kick, intercepted by the man on the mark, in fact. Just shows how slippery that pill is to use in very, very difficult conditions.
No fun at all for the players when it's like that. It's heavy as well. That's the... If you don't connect with it right, or even if you do, it's just a heavy football. And a tough one to kick any more than 30 metres, to be honest, when it gets like this. There are some spots of green out there, but it's very wet underfoot. Cunningham gives it back. A score check, 5-7 to 2-4. And the flags on top of the scoreboard are fluttering away very strongly. Morford puts a tackle on McIntosh, puts the knees into his face, and we've got another bounce down and half forward left for the Eags. ...323 games, you'll have seen a few dirty outings, McIntosh. And we said before the game, Ken, that it would suit him down to the ground. He's playing well.
Well, he's in and under, isn't he? And that's where all leaders should be. They've got to lead by example, and McIntosh, certainly the conditions will enable him to do that to a very high standard here today. Thrown up again, Keating again, emerging as a clear winner in the ruck, giving his Norwood teammates first opportunity at every throw up there has been almost, but the Eagles just closing them up at every opportunity as well, and again many throw up situations will evolve throughout the game. Neiman, well, that ball hasn't shifted in perhaps 2 minutes of football. It wouldn't have shifted 10 metres. Thrown up again in the same spot. They compete, and again it goes down, and again we'll have another throw up.
Oh, really?
Well, a change of voice might change the plays. It really has been a good contest, but just the number of players around the football at the moment, that have to be at least 2/3 or more, and a free kick has been called, so a change of voice has changed the play.
Yeah, good call. And the crowd give up a big cheer because the free kick's gone to David Neiman, not just because Big David's got the free, but because it breaks that deadlock and that string of ball-ups. Now, he's shooting from a bit closer than the spot that Sam Filippo had just a short time ago here. And David Neiman is a good kick. A little bit of the right post here. He runs at it. He kicks it beautifully. Will it carry? Yes, sir. So the Eagles get a little bit closer. 5-7 to 3-4. We've played 21.5 minutes of the second term.
It was a good kick here by Neiman. Kicked it from around about 45. Pretty hard with this heavy football. But had the advantage of the breeze right behind him, right from his over his right shoulder. Just cleared the Norwood player's hand out to East Ham. But a good goal from Eagles and one that was much needed.
5-7 Norwood, leading the Eagles 3-4. 15-point advantage as the umpire throws it into the air. They compete. Keating with the right hand down to Giorgio. Well held up by Pays. Tackled him brilliantly, the experience of Pays. And another throw-up will take place. Umpire Jeff Jeans will get absolutely sick and tired of this by the end of the day, I would imagine. He throws it up again. Keating with the right hand down. Christensen intercepts. Neiman picks it up. And again, the ball congested, flicked out to space. Christensen with the right foot forces it forward. It is Bassett on the left foot, forces it wide to... You see who that player can't pick him up. Picked up by Harvey. Quick left-hand handball through to Cunningham. The ball goes to James running in pursuit with Christensen. Christian dropping the ball to mine. Play on called.
Holding the man to mine.
Takes place. Well, that's the great thing about football. Different opinions all the time.
Not always the right ones, though, are they? Hard as nails. Always going for the underdog, aren't you?
Got to get up.
This is, who is that in there? Andrew Pays to Neiman to Zilla. Now they're working it out and they're starting to get a bit of fluency there as much as you can in the glue pot. Sam Filippo was sorely tempted, wasn't he, to boot it off the ground. I think if he had, he would have really hurt someone. Clements it is. Clements flees the scene. He does okay to half forward left. Beautiful kick, but right into the sun. Cunningham found it tough. Ugrinic swoops and does okay. And just traps his way through some fairly heavy traffic and gets it to half forward where Filippo gets belted. They pick it up with Zilla.
Yep.
And inside half forward, Morfitt would love to have had a second crack at it. He didn't quite get the hands of it.
Well, he was unlucky there, Morfitt, but it wasn't a tremendous roving by Zilla to the front and square of that pack. He really did set himself, picked it up, one grab and forced it forward. The ball thrown up, they compete. And again, congested. Finds another throw-up taking place.
Get some Vicks out there, I reckon. A decongestant.
Derek Woodcock throws the ball in the air. They compete. Keating with the right hand wide to the flank. They jump on it. And again, another throw-up. Unbelievable amount
Well, you liked
of
this, Mark,
throw-ups
didn't
for
you?
the day.
He's called a free kick here. Couldn't quite see. The crowd's not too happy. Rowe decides he wants to play on as well.
And he does so to Daniels. Probably the only man out there who's got clean shorts on. Not anymore because he's gone into the mud, and so too is Ugrinic as he slides. In fact, it was Browning and leaves a little track across the boundary line. Messy business, this footy. Messy, messy stuff. And the boundary umpire puts a bit of oomph into it and closes down a quarter of ball up after ball up here at Woodville Oval. It's muddy and it's tough to get anything going. For all that, it's actually been pretty entertaining, this round 16 clash. In the first 60 minutes between the Eagles and Norwood at half-time, the Red Leagues in charge. 5-7 to 3-4, 15 points the difference. And the second half does get underway in the bog. Mark Nailey, how do you see it?
She's been pretty tough, pretty hard, pretty boggy out here, as you just said, Stephen. Conditions have suited some players. We see Gary McIntosh there. Looks like he's had a shower, or he's changed his, he's changed his jumper at half-time. He's now wearing number 9. So for those people at home who have known Gary McIntosh to wear number 14 for so many years, all of a sudden at half-time he's come out wearing jumper number 9. But a good contest. You see some players there, Pays. Also Cunningham's doing very good in that first half. A lot of players. You can see number 54 out there, who's not recorded in the budget. Look at sitting up in the grandstand today. Newly appointed as recruiting manager in Alan Stewart, former ABC commentator. Stephen?
Yes, a defector. It's gone to the Power.
Sitting there with John Cale, the Newport Power coach.
Well, I can tell you they've been sitting there since 10 o'clock this morning. They've been watching the junior grades and they've been watching the reserves. They'll sit here. It's a long day.
Certainly is, but they certainly are the two best men for the job, I believe. Jack Cale as a senior coach, and in fact Mark Williams as the assistant is also an excellent choice, but Alan Stewart just knows his football backwards, and certainly the junior brigade.
But they've got lots of work to do in putting together their squad, and they'll take, what are they taking? About 29 players from the SANFL, and so they've got lots and lots of work in front of them, and they'll be watching this game with some interest. It's been boggy, it's been messy. It's been tough work. Some players have really been reaching for the towel, trying to get some of that mud out of the eyes. Zilla has been excellent so far. Pesh has been quiet. As he looked to drag it out, he's going to get a free kick, and rightly so.
I haven't seen too many players today really pull out from a contest. It really has been tough and hard. A couple of good sides. As I said before, the Eagles want to stay in the 5, want to consolidate their place in that top 3 or 4. And Norwood are just there, just hanging, just waiting for Centrals to make a bit of a mistake, and they'll snatch top position.
Ugrinic on centre wing, members wing for the Eagles. Played well, Ugrinic. Puts the ball long to the half forward. It is spoiled. Robertson leads the pack to the ball. The red leg defender kicks the ball with the right leg into centre wing, and it is Bailey sets himself, but the ball comes to front. Pesh again just forces the ball to Zilla. Zilla, number 8 for the Eagles, puts it on to McClure. McClure kicks it to space. Donald Dickey reads it, intercepts it well. Cunningham finds Crowden racing free on his own. Centre wing has all day to pick it up, and will need it by the look of it. Dodges around Colville, back to Giorgio again in the centre corridor. Off one step, kicks it, and messing it up there, the two Eagles players, but held in by Christensen, and another ball up will take place as umpire Jeff Jeans loses his footing. So many of the players have been found it difficult today in these slippery conditions. They compete for the ball. Miller and Bailey. Bailey with the right hand. Giorgio and Zilla compete again, and it will again be thrown up.
Yes, we are live here at Woodville Oval. Just been down there at...
Say it again.
Yes, we are live here at Woodville Oval, but just been down there at half-time. It is very, very heavy underfoot.
I'm sure it is, as Dillon gets it and punches it towards half-back. Ugrinic's going to be first there. Tough bounce, wasn't it? Look at that for a snare. Beautifully done by James to Harvey, and his kick sits up, and it sits up nicely for Dillon, who takes a relieving mark. 5-7 to 3-4, 15 points the difference, and Dillon will punch it alongside centre wing.
Dillon playing on half-back for the Eagles, brings the ball inboard, but Donald Dickey reads that ball, intercepted it well, and goes back now on half-forward for the Redlegs. Punches the ball in long, drives it in long. They set themselves. The ball goes to the back where Rowe, off the ground, attempt at goal. Not successful, and forced over the boundary line by the experienced leadership of Pays. We'll see a throw-in take place.
The Eagles need the first score after half-time. They really have contested pretty well. It was just that first sort of 15, 20 minutes of that first quarter really has been the difference between the two sides.
Tyson. Interesting to see Jason Spear back on the ground, who left during that second term, as Dickey misses offline and out of bounds on the full. Now the breeze is very strong. It's going from right of screen to left. It's helping Norwood in this term, so if the Eagles can hold them, as you can see from the windsock and the flags, it's really quite stiff. If the Eagles can hold them, then they'll give themselves a chance in the last term, but the legs, I honestly believe, are going to be very, very tired. So they need to make a break now. McIntosh to Dickey, an exciting player, missed that one, and another ball up.
Really has opened this third quarter well, has Donald Dickey. Played the first half on the half-forward flank on Andrew Rogers. Got the better of him late in the second quarter, but really making amends now as the ball's thrown up and they compete. Forced out by Dickey again, but out on the full is deemed by the boundary umpire, and it will be Andrew Pays to take the kick in the back pocket for the Eagles. Kicking into the wind. Pays looks upfield. punches the ball to the half-back flank. Held up in the breeze. They set themselves a big man over the back east door, brought it to front, and again it is wrapped up by the ferocious tackling of both teams, which has been spectacular here today in these conditions.
So Donald Dickey, we just saw him a moment ago. I described him as an exciting player. He is. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Giorgio and McIntosh mixing it up. Giorgio again and McIntosh handball to Miller. The build-up is pretty good. Around the body they go. Nothing happening down there though for Tyson. The tackle was pretty good by Spear. What's the decision? Dead ball.
Had an opportunity there, Roan, right towards the end, but you can just see it here. We've talked about it right from the first quarter, just how good are these sides at tackling. Both sides have been gang tackling all day long.
Miller taps the ball down, picked up by Axon just onto the ground, but it is Reid who emerges on the left foot, has a snap for goal, and it is successful. First goal after the half-time break to the Norwood Redlegs. They lead 6-7, 43 to the Eagles, 3-4.
Just these sort of goals, they dart there. They can be created. You see Ashley Reid just grabbed it, turned around very, very quickly, just kicked it onto his left boot and brings up his first goal for the day.
He's kicked his 3s and 4s okay. He's got 44 before today and now 45. 100's going to be beyond him, but if he can get into the 70s, then he's going to be an important player for Norwood as Robinson gets it at half-back. It spills out to Pays, an inside half-forward proper. They're just too good, the legs, in terms of their tackling at the moment. We talked about it a moment ago, but if you had to pick a winner on points, certainly Norwood.
And the SNFL updates, Glenelg leading west by 6 points, and South playing north are trailing by 11 behind. Sturt playing Port, and Port lead that one by 19 points.
Back here at Woodville Oval, we've got a margin of 21 points the difference. How do you see them getting it back into it, Mark? The Eagles were excellent last week against South Adelaide.
So were Norwood against Port last Sunday. It's a sensational game out there at Norwood Oval at the parade. One of the largest crowds we have seen at SNFL game for a long while. But the Eagles, they're trying hard, but Norwood are just too good. They're ground level, just their players. Plus got too many players up forward, whether it's going to be Miller or Reid, just able to kick goals. Where today the Eagles hadn't had anybody up there. They're missing an Andrew Taylor, and possibly Philippo is being well held at the moment.
Craig Doddridge, the umpire, will throw the ball up in the Eagles forward line. It is 40 metres out from their goal, kicking against the breeze. Tapped down by Neiman. Cleared by Bowman, out to Dickey. Dickey with the dodge, puts the ball on the right foot to the boundary line, using the space well. Under pressure, use the safety of the boundary, and another throw-in will take place on the outer wing at the Woodville Oval.
6-7 to 3-4. Store. Big number 27. Left the ground for a while. McIntosh and an unfamiliar number 9. Pushes the opponent into the bench, or into the fence, I should say, as Dickey gets it around the corner to Cunningham, who has really been very good. He plays it on. Very good acquisitions, aren't they, Cunningham and Giorgio in the midfield for them. Rogers is under some pressure. Spent a bit of time seemingly on centre wing this afternoon, picking up Dickey and making sure that he didn't cut loose. Throw up just inside that 50-metre line. Miller, the big bloke, wins it and does it well. So too does Rogers. Now as they work it out, what's on the end of it? Philippo gets pushed and still takes an excellent mark.
Fantastic mark under all sorts of pressure he was there. Great grip by Philippo.
It's been good, Philippo. Onto Axon, left foot kick. If Colville out in front, but well read Robertson. He's been good at halfback as well for the Redlegs. Puts the ball, picked up by McClure. McClure quickly into the centre half forward position where it's fed off to Zilla. Zilla plenty of time, looks for the leading Neiman, who picks it up on the half volley, puts it into Colville, tries to make something out of nothing. Robertson just cuts that off and uses the ball well back to the centre wing, but it is Pesh who picks the ball up, uses his pace and balance well. On the left foot finds Filippo. Filippo being very, very good at centre half forward for the Eagles. Axon leading well, but is tied up by Dantokia. Filippo has got it again, got to be holding the ball. Surely a free kick to the Norwood Redlegs. Tremendous play, Stephen Rowe, as he plays on, dodges back, forced to kick the ball hurriedly. It's up in the air, they emerge under it, and it is Tyson who takes a strong mark. No, it's not, it's actually Nick Pesh for the Eagles. He goes back on centre wing, half forward, uses the ball wider to the flank. Axon takes it, plays on, left foot long into centre half forward, in front position Dickey. It's forced to the front of the pack. Morford on his unfamiliar right foot puts the ball over the boundary for a throw in the forward pocket.
You just sense that Eagles really are throwing everything at the Norwood side at the moment, but the Norwood side is just responding. Heavy forward thrust now. The centre half forward, McIntosh has taken on 2 Eagles players. He's just quite picked that up.
Neiman and Eastdoor. He goes out the back. Zilla. If the little bloke gets hold of it, he'll do okay because he's having a great outing so far. Filippo. They bend it around the body. Rowe is there. It goes off hands. Now Morford, if he can just squeeze it out to Pays, they might have been a chance. But the red leg defence is, oh, that's a little throw. The cameras picked it up well. The umpire didn't, but they'll still be the beneficiaries, the Eagles, because it's gone across the line and out of bounds on the full.
A little touch here by Rowe under extreme pressure. Couldn't do much more with it. Look at this, and the safety of the boundary line wasn't quite there for Jerry Dantoshia.
Well, he knew where the umpire was, didn't he, to be fair?
Yes, a good experience there as a throw-up will take place in the forward pocket for the Eagles, kicking against the breeze here at the Woodville Oval. They compete. Neiman puts it down, but Dickey has read it well. He's been fantastic in this opening part of this third quarter. His opponent has just come on in the last few minutes to curb his brilliance in young Axon, and I'm not sure that he's having that much effect initially. We'll give him a bit of time. They compete for the throw-up again, Eastdoor versus Neiman, and Neiman throws the Norwood number 3 player in Stephen Rowe to the turf.
Just remember the football videos of this game and all the others that the ABC is covering this year, either by going directly into the ABC shop or making a telephone call right down there in the square. This is a good opportunity for the Eagles, but they're not going to score. Or are they? Oh, yes, they might, because Pesh is going to get a free kick, seemingly the way that umpire is gesticulating for holding on.
It's been good, Pesh, in the opening of this third quarter.
Some strong work there. Some very strong work. Neiman unlucky not to get the free kick. It was fairly high.
So David Neiman from the goal square. Now, isn't that an important goal? And much to the delight of the Eagles fans, David Neiman belts it through. He gets his second, one in the second, now one in the third. And at the 13.5-minute mark, the Eagles get a little closer through their big full forward.
There was plenty of pressure there by Neiman, wasn't there? Plenty of pressure. Took the front position, but good work by the big fella in Neiman.
Norwood leading by 15 points, and a free kick to the Eagles as they make a challenge. It is Sphere that emerges from the glue pot in the centre of the ground. Taken off the ground earlier, Sphere, but it's re-emerged after the half-time break. A 25-metre penalty has been given by umpire Jeff Jeans as Sphere kicks the ball long into the breeze. You can see it held up, and Dantokia with the experience reads it well. Transfers play to the half-forward flank, but intercepted by Neiman. Neiman picks, oh, he's run over it, and it's cleaned up by the Norwood players. McIntosh, left foot into the centre of the ground. Waiting there is Cunningham, but intercepted Neiman. Neiman with the left foot, left hand, flicks the ball to Colville, and Colville goes bang into the goal square where Morford is sitting on his own. Tremendous play by Morford.
I just saw Gary McIntosh come flying through there, but a good mark. Safe hand, didn't take his eyes off the ball. Scotty Morford hasn't kicked one today. Plenty of experience there. 237 games. And a great club man for the Eagles.
He's kicked that goal. has Morford, the 5th one for the Eagles, and a very, very important goal.
Yes, they're getting a little bit back at the moment. There's no doubt about that. And the game's alive because they've given themselves half a chance. The kick from Bailey, in fact, it was a squeeze through, was okay.
So Gary McIntosh there, Stephen.
Macca came through very heavily, but it was Morford who got on the end of it and ended up kicking the goal.
They compete for the ball in the glue pot as Keating onto the ground. Flicks it out to Cunningham. Cunningham goes long with the pill. Miller read it well. Spilled the crumb as the Eagles go in to take possession, but Giorgio emerges, and again it's just so tough and strong in there. Miller held up well by just tremendous play by both sides as they really work hard to hold each other up. Emerging from the ball is Hugh Grinick back into McClure, who has just tackled so strongly and ferociously again. It has been just magnificent. Nathan Herbert, the player there, laying that tackle.
Great desperation shown by both sides. They're just throwing themselves into this game. Their second and third efforts have been outstanding in this contest.
How is Hugh Grinick's pace out of the bog? Absolutely electrifying. The game certainly reached a new level of intensity at the moment as Robinson takes it on half forward.
Good work by Robinson. Got caught behind and worked so hard to get to the front of Morford. A good grab taken by Scotty Robinson.
So Woodville West Torrens, they have a sniff. They're within 9 points, 6-7 to 5-4. Tyson can't stop it from being squeezed out to Sheldrick. Oh, Brad, you took the wrong turn. Right back into traffic. Off hands. Front spot is Pearce. Looked like a mini-leaguer down there. Is so close to the ground, and he found quite deliberately the line on the far side.
Gee, it was good play by Pearce, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, the ball could have gone either way. Lucky enough, it just set up nicely for him so he could take it and he cleared the ball straight towards the boundary line.
Throw in 40 metres from the red leg goals. And it is the big fellow Bailey who emerges, grabbing it out of there and kicking it long to the half-back flank. Good spoil by Bowman over the back, and it is forced out of bounds on the half-forward flank for the Norwood side. They are leading by 9 points over the Eagles here at the Woodville Oval. Thrown in as they compete. Keating taps it down brilliantly to McIntosh. McIntosh long on the left foot, puts it into Reid. Reid in front position, Rowe perfectly in the front position, unlucky not to get a free kick, and it is wrapped up and another throw up will take place.
There's a fair bit of intensity out there at the moment. I just knows that players really are getting desperate. They just don't want us sacrifice this football or give it away.
18 and a half minutes have gone. Rogers, always cool and calm, to you, Grinick. And James, who opened in sensational fashion in terms of number of possessions anyway. Reid lost his compass. He's a little away from home, but that kick's pretty good. It falls into the arms of Macca at half forward. Feigns it one way and then goes back on the left. It'll test the leg as well. He's a long way out as it carries. Now Miller charged the player. No free kick, but still it got touched on the way through.
Umpire sitting. Clever work here by McIntosh. Watch this. Plenty of experience. Faded the handball. Turned his left. He should have. Possibly even could have gone another couple of more metres. Nearly got, but look at Miller here, straight into the back of the Eagles backman.
The Eagles 5 goals 4, trailing Norwood 6 goals 8. As Stephen Hall goes to kick in. Well, I think that possibly was a free kick to the Eagles. Hall kicks the ball long to the outer back flank as they're in front. And again, This time has paid. Miller using the arms a little bit liberally and has given the free kick away to Bailey. Bailey in ruck, left foot long to the centre wing. They set themselves. Keating drops yet another mark. He's been very good though, Keating. Flicked up by Robinson. Intercepted by... And it is finally cleared by Bowman. A long kick into centre half forward position. Sheldrick, 2 grabs. Unfortunately, not able to take it, and Colville emerges. Left-hand handball back to the Eagles as they clear the ball to the half-back flank.
And Rogers gets on the end of it to Pesh. They work it away. Pesh gets it back. The run on the overlap was pretty good. He has Phillippo. He also has Morford. Morford takes it left leg. Partly smothered. The umpire's waving his arms and says play on. Oh dear.
A comedy of errors there, both by the umpires and also the players as well, but some updates here. West Adelaide still in front. They're leading by 24 points over the Bays. Down in Noarlunga, North still by 10 points. And and Sturt. They're not letting Port get away. Port still by 10 points.
And it is the Norwood side leading by 10 points here at the Woodville Oval as Nathan Irvin leads his player in sphere to the boundary line. Almost out on the full, but good umpiring by the boundary umpire. He's closest to the scene and will throw it in yet again. Keating and Neiman contest the ruck contest. They've been terrific at it, both ruckmen all day. Over the back comes Clemency, emerges with the football out to James. James elects to kick it off the ground and is unsuccessful. In two minds was the young Norwood wingman, and unfortunately for him, made the wrong error. Bailey kicks the ball to Pays. Pays marks the foot on the chest, breaks into the centre of the ground on the left foot, puts it to Neiman. Neiman over the top to Colville all day. He's got plenty of space in front of him. Has the left foot at Coleman, uses it long. Morfitt dropping back, uses his body well, but great play by the Norwood defence. Wrapped it up, hits it to the safety of the boundary, but Colville has followed up his kick well on the right foot into the centre of the ground, and it's fine. Neiman, tremendous play by the Eagles. They really have just presented themselves.
Yeah, good work here by the Eagles, finally ending up here with the big fella in Neiman. Already today has kicked a couple, could bring up his third.
Evidence of what's taking out of the legs of these players, this soggy ground, is you see Sam Filippo stretching almost in a cramp situation already. As Neiman approaches from 40 metres, he's a prodigious kick of the football into the breeze, and it is the height of the Norwood defence in Daniels and Dickey who force the ball over for another behind for the Eagles team.
This could nearly be a match-winning quarter for the Eagles. They are kicking against a fairly strong breeze here at Woodville Oval. As I said in the first quarter, it's around about two or three goals advantage. But a great, to the Eagles' credit, they've fought back as we see a blood roll being used here. The young fella in Colville, who I've been pretty impressed with this year. He's only young, only short, but he's a real terrier. We just saw then, he just set it up beautifully. A beautiful kick before to David Neiman.
Now Browning is taking his place as Jerry Dantokia takes all sorts of time with that changeover to get things going again. The margin, by the way, is back into 9 points, and the player Colville off the ground and just getting a clean-up. Getting away from the mud for a moment. This is Daniels. Launches at it. The ball carries okay. About 45, maybe 50 metres. McIntosh, look at that. Beautiful situational awareness as he gets it through the pack to a teammate, and now up towards centre-half forward to where Rowe is well held. And it's either Clements.
Great courage and great commitment shown there, Stephen. Great courage by the Eagles players. We see another change. Old Brucey Winder is really making the match stewards work this afternoon.
Yes, he sure is, as Hannum comes back on for Phillip. I was going to say it's either Harvey or Clements there, but with the mud on them, it's almost impossible to tell. Hall picks it off at fullback.
He's playing well in defence, is Hall, as he switches play out to Pearce, number 13 for the Eagles, uses the ball wide of the half-back flank, and well cut off by Nathan Irvin, number 11 for Norwood. The left footer will use the ball undoubtedly long to the talls. Bang he goes with the football, looking for Miller, who's in front position, and it says he got it. Is it paid? No, it's called play on, and it's... Gee, that was close to being a mark, I would think, from here.
It would have had to have been close. Look at this, one grab. No, the Eagles player from behind had a second grab of it, but nearly could have.
So tremendous umpiring, and certainly he is closer than we are here from the commentary box, but I'm sure we're going to be drier than him in moments. As he throws the ball into the air, Miller hits it back into the corridor. Christensen intercepts well, but it is Cunningham who has cut the ball off. Cunningham some 50 metres out from goal, right on the boundary line, kicking with the breeze in Norwood, leading by 9 points. Kicks the ball to the goal square, forced down into the crumb, and a ball up again will take place.
It's tough in there, isn't it? I think the goal umpire looks as though he wants a piece of the action. I thought he was going to put a finger up or two. But we'll have a throw-up. Toss-up of the footy about 2 metres out. Now, you can see Andrew Pays pointing. He knows exactly where it wants to go. Straight through there. Miller's going to work hard for it not to happen. Pearce. The Eagles don't get it their way. Growden spectacularly over the top, and finally the boundary line. Now, I tell you, one of the things that's going to make a difference in this game is if it rains again, because the temperature has just dropped about 5 degrees, I reckon, and it is, well, it feels like it's about to rain, doesn't it?
Certainly does. It's become very, very dark here at Woodville Oval. Norwood kicking with the breeze. 9 points ahead. The umpire throws in a huge congestion of players around the ball as the ball races Harvey to the boundary line again, and will be thrown in for the umpteenth time here this afternoon.
25 and a half minutes gone. Some hardy souls are well rugged up. It was 24 points the difference at quarter time, 15 points the difference at half time. What's happening with that ball? Not quite over the line. It just sat on the white line for a moment, I think, as McIntosh tries to barge his way through. He gets it and gives it over, and finally it goes out of bounds on the full. So 24 at quarter time, 15 at half time, and at the moment it's just 9 points the difference. Craig
Baum, who the reserves, in fact, of Norwood's side were very successful here early this afternoon. Harvey puts the ball into the slot, and it is well read by Marty Dillon, playing on the half-back flank for the Eagles. Left-handed handball, flicks it out to Pesh. Pesh is wrapped up well. Brilliant tackle by the Norwood player there in Harvey. Magnificent. Just aimed right at the hips and just stopped him dead in his tracks. So it's a lesson there for any youngsters that really are looking to tackle. You've got to aim right at the hips of the player, and that was exactly what Harvey was able to do. Kick the ball into the spot, and it was Bailey that forced the ball over to Zilla. Zilla clears for the Eagles, out on the half-back flank. Hayes tackled again. The tackling has been magnificent, as we've seen here. McIntosh try and get rid of the ball, but he's wrapped up by the Eagles players. Both teams, the tackling has been inspirational.
Sure has. 1 goal to Norwood in this third term with the breeze. 2 goals against it for the Eagles, so they really have worked hard and worked well. Pearce at the bottom of the pack. He'd love to find Rogers. It's tough and tight in that traffic, though. Good luck getting through there. And the growler certainly won't. Trevor Growden, number 4, is well stopped in his tracks. So three-quarter time here at Woodville Oval. The last 30 minutes promise to be very exciting, if a little slow because it's been tough and tight, but at 44-35, Ken Sheldon, how do you see it?
Well, they've certainly put themselves
Well, the umpire hasn't heard it. Somebody tell him to put his 2 hands up. Finally he has. Just give us a quick summary of how you see this last quarter. Thanks very much, David Mackay. Our game's just a little out of sync because we're just underway here at Woodville Oval. It's all set up for a very exciting last term, a game that both sides would love to win, obviously, and that goes without saying. Norwood looking at top spot if they can possibly get it, and the Eagles looking at a double chance if they can get it. Mark, go out on a limb. Who do you think will get the money?
I reckon after the third quarter effort by the Eagles, I put my money on the Eagles for this last quarter. They're still trailing, but they are kicking with about a 2 or 3 goal advantage in this last quarter. As we can see, going to the forward line again, young Pace just throws it, an opportunity to kick a goal there. He had to kick one for the day, and he brings up the Eagles' 6th point.
So Jack Cale there, and Alan Stewart sitting alongside, and just a little further to the right is the dome. Andrew Jarman, who said during the week that he just wanted to get all that fracas out of the way and go and have a haircut. Fair enough, but I wonder if there's any relationship between him sitting with Cale and Stewart. What do you think?
I don't think so. I'm sure Andrew Jarman, at the end of the season, well, you never know.
Well, we could make something
plenty of speculation this week that end of the season that he will be put on the market. Adelaide Crows have had enough of him.
McClure puts the ball into Morford. Morford up to Pesh. Pesh with the right foot snap, but is inaccurate for the Eagles. Unfortunate there. A much needed goal as they trail now only by 7 points in the opening minutes of this final quarter.
Scotty Morford is the leading goal scorer for the Eagles so far this year. Just a handful. They haven't really got amongst it as Dan Topia brings it away from defence. Oh, Eastor, thank you. Great mark with a heavy ball. Just stuck up a big mitt and it stuck to it. So he did okay. Davey who went off the ground earlier with what seemed to be a leg injury, but is back okay now. Pays around the body. They have found a bit extra, haven't they, the Eagles? Neiman to Zilla, and Jason puts it up within about 20 metres. They can take a mark there in business. Free kick anyway.
Strong work by Scotty Morford. Just worked so hard to take front position. Look at that. That was just pure strength. Plenty of experience there also by Scott Morford. You can put this one down for another goal to bring up his second for the day.
Morford.
Really has been good, Scott Morford, since about halfway through the first quarter. His left foot kick is deemed by the goal umpire as true, and 6 points more go onto the board for the Eagles. His second goal, Scott Morford, 6 goals, 7. They have now kicked.
The Eagles are back and fire, as I just called before. I reckon they're going to come home with a very, very wet sail at the moment. Look at this, young Zilla. He loves these conditions, puts it high up in front, but the work by Scotty Morford has been well held today. Only had the 2 opportunities to kick goals.
Just some AFL final scores. North Melbourne beat St Kilda handsomely. Essendon over Richmond, which is a bit of a surprise in some quarters, I'm sure, by 20 points. Brisbane got over Footscray by 14 points, and my tipping remains a disaster. Geelong over Melbourne by 58.
Sheldrick off the ground, wearing number 2, missing a 2 as he normally wears number 22 for the Eagles. Great follow-up, forces the ball to the boundary. Michael Axon picks it up brilliantly, kicks the ball long from centre wing to the half-forward flank, but out of bounds the ball goes as it leads the Norwood player Troy Clements to the safety of the boundary in the Eagles forward line. There has been a lot of throw-ins, a lot of ball-ups in this muddy, difficult conditions. The tackling and the intent by both sides has been nothing short of magnificent. The throw-in takes place on the half-forward flank. They compete for the ball, tapped into space by Neiman. Leading the race to the ball is Cole. Oh, great pickup and tremendous goal. Running onto the ball is number 34 for the Eagles side, David Ugrinnick, and they have hit the front.
What a good patch to pay. Now look at the big fella, punches it his way. Colville put the foot down, just took off from the pack, decided the best method here was to kick it forward. Some great hands. And a good goal by David Ugrinnick. The Eagles are back in town. It's the first time they've been in front since the start of the game.
7 goals, 7 the Eagles, 49 points, leading Norwood 6 goals, 8, 44.
...24 years of age, and has really only racked up 14 games, so he's done it pretty tough. Neiman have found an extra leg, the Eagles, on their home deck as Pays gets it forward right up to within about 35 or 40 metres as a player comes off the ground. Nails, who is it?
Just looking it down there, looks like it's number 20, the Norwood boys, Roger James. It looks as though he's busted an arm, or possibly could be even worse than that, but the stage, he's got his arm in a sling. It's been held up. He's just gone straight down to the race.
Centre bounce clearance by the Eagles has seen the ball emerge with Bailey, who has been changing in ruck with Neiman all day. The left foot approach in a difficult Quagmire sees the ball carry for another snag for the Eagles. They go further ahead, 8 goals, 7, 56, leading the Redlegs, 6 goals, 8, 44.
Good work here. Some good quick hands here. Again now, Zilla, he's been in every contest so far. Neiman over the top. But just the Eagles, I mean, they've got this bit of fire in their belly at the moment. They really are coming home strong. They realise that this is their home ground. They're not going to lose a game here against Norwood, and this really will cement their place in the final 5.
6.5 minutes gone, 6-8. Norwood, they're in strife. All of a sudden, the Eagles are 8-7. 11 points the difference. Next goal's very important. Christensen, half-back. The rain threatened and seems to have gone away, so it's not going to be an influence now. That bog might be, though. Estor, they've found it, the Eagles. A little bit of desperation and first at the footy stuff that makes it important. Good tackling remains, and we'll have a bounce down right in the middle.
South trailing North by only 12 points. Sturt trailing Port by 15.
And our other game, of course, down at the Bay. Glenelga playing West Adelaide, and that will shape the final 5 now. We'll pick that game up at 5-5.
And on screen there is Zilla. What a player he has been since probably the 15-minute mark of the first quarter. Neiman punches the ball again into space. It is Filippo who picks it up on to Pays. Pays on the left foot, has a shot at goal. The ball carries but is inaccurate. And the Eagles register their 8th behind. 8 goals, 8, 56. 12 points in front of the Norwood Redlegs as Dan Tokia prepares yet again to kick in.
Another change being made. Esau, the ruckman, has come off. Keating, who's given a bit of a bite in the air today, hasn't been able to take too many big grabs, but it's been a very good contest around the ground with ball ups and throw-ins.
2 goals the difference. Dan Tokia. They've still elected to go wide and then try and work it back into that centre corridor. No panic yet for them, but they're going to need a score pretty smartly. As we have another bounce down, or throw up, as you quite rightly pointed out earlier, Kenneth.
Just too many players of Norwood haven't touched the footing in the second half. We're looking at Cunningham, Tyson in the forward lines. Also, Miller's been very, very quiet. Reid across the half-forward line. Even McIntosh, who's been moved onto a half-forward flank. He really needs to get himself back onto the ball, demand that he goes back onto the ball. Just send the message back to the coach, Peter Road. I need to be on the ball. I'm going to win this game for you.
Well, Norwood kicked 3 goals probably in the opening 6 or 7 minutes and have only kicked 3 since. The ball is thrown up by umpire Jeans. They compete for flicked out. Rogers is deemed as throwing the ball away as Colville was about to break free, and there's a free kick going to Bowman of
umpire
Norwood.
Jeans here. Ken called actually as though wasn't a throw, he's called holding the ball. You couldn't quite see him in the camera there, but a good mark taken by Marty Dillon.
Marty Dillon playing on the half-back flank has probably had the better of Tyson in his duel as he settles and looks for a free player for the Eagles. He has found one in Neiman. It was a poor kick though, but it spills to Zilla. Zilla just pumps the ball forward, and back in the slot is Keating, playing a kick and a half behind the game, the Norwood ruckman.
Who Ken Sheldon coached at South Adelaide.
Tremendous player, Keating too, and a very good prospect I'm sure would be looking at very strongly by Alan Stewart and the Port coach Jack Carl.
Norwood work it out of defence. Again, it's short-circuited though, the Eagles. Spear got it up from Pearce, and Keating should take another one. Good mark. Dominant last week against Port Adelaide, and that is a good one. On the back play to Davey, who blindly kicks. I guess that's why you're shaking your head, Mark. But a good mark by Donald. Dicky knee, you've been popped.
Good decision by the umpire. Donald Dickey wanted to go on with it. You can see here he wanted to play on. Young Jason Spear in the best position. He's got to play it loose in Colville. He wants to use him, and he does.
And was a good execution by the leg too, as Colville ran into space. He's now 50 metres out. The red-headed Colville has been a good player today. He's been lively, as he always is. Number 23 for the Eagles. Too far out to score. Congested forward line. He kicks the ball long into the goal square. They merge Keating in front position. It comes to the front of the pack, and another throw-up will take place.
Well, Bruce Winter accompanied the umpires from the arena at half-time, and he gave them a real spray. He was obviously not happy with what had gone on, but I guess he'd be a little bit happier now as Dillon comes off for them. He's going to be replaced by number 14.
It's Mark Devine.
Mark Devine and Peter Schwarz's old number. Peter Schwarz we saw earlier in the day, the 1993 grand final replay. Peter Schwarz, the captain of that premiership glory. This is Colville, and they slowly but surely work it to within scoring range once more. Norwood need a spark all of a sudden. And you ask yourself the question, where is it going to come from? That handball was just too hot, a tough one to take. Now, Giorgio's handball was much better because he hit it into the ground and it bounced up. Now a chance in the glue pot in the middle. A touch take. No good, though, because Spear picks it up and puts it up to Zilla.
Zilla picks it up, flicks it into Sheldrick, who launches the ball into the goal, looking for the goal. And on his own is Ugrinik, playing on centre wing, has run hard into the forward line, and now has a shot to put the Eagles well in front. Good mark overhead in these conditions.
Well, Eagles supporters, both here and also at home, watching this on TV, can be very impressed with their side today. They've come back from being well down, but another goal has been kicked, which it has.
Yes, Ugrinik gets his second, and at the 12-minute mark of this last quarter, well, where are Norwood going to get it from?
Well, they're just being beaten comprehensively all over the ground. That fellow there, Zilla, has been magnificent.
Any ideas?
Well, I said before, McIntosh has moved himself into the middle now on the ball. As we see another change been made by Bruce Winter. Both coaches have been making a lot of changes in this last quarter. But McIntosh back in the middle. That just might be the spark that Norwood need.
Donald Dickey attempts to take the ball out of the midfield. They charge in with tremendous ferocity. Sam Filippo out to Ziller again on the left, puts it to space. The ball is like a greasy pig. Picked up by Robinson, flicks it inboard to Dantokia off the ground, and it is called. It's paid a mark. I reckon that was a half volley.
The umpire was behind the player. Couldn't quite see which way, whether he took it or not. You can see. It did happen to hit the ground, but I reckon he took it first, and then it popped out, hit the ground, and came back in the game. So the umpire made the right decision.
Troy Clements looks for the height of Miller. Miller playing a centre-half forward. Pesh emerges from the pack with a football, kicks it towards centre-half forward Colville. It bounces over the back, spills back towards Colville. Clever toe poke off the ground, and Filippo emerges with a footy. It's called play on. They're all on their own. He's been good. And we see the Eagles run into an open goal. Ugrinik again has just been tremendous. His third goal puts the Eagles in a dominating position, kicking with the breeze in this last quarter.
Doesn't it make a difference when you've got players running in supporting? Look at this. The Eagles just create that loose man. The first one over the top from McClure. Again, Morfitt over the top. Ugrinik, who's already kicked two, brings up his third, and the Eagles are home. Put down your glasses, turn the TV off, and you might as well leave Woodville Oval because the Eagles have won the game.
Oh, that's a good call. Just hang on. Let me put a different stamp on that. Bruce Winter played 13 this year and won 8. You can have your opinion whether the game's over or not, but don't turn your television off just yet. McIntosh. His little kick to Christensen and then follows up and barrels it and gives away a free.
Free downfield.
Settle, Mark, settle.
It's exciting. It's been good game of football, been good brands, been courageous, it's been tough, it's been brilliant desperation out there, but this is the best stand of wet weather football I've seen this year.
It's been an awful last 30 minutes if you're a Norwood supporter. 10-8 to 6-8. They've kicked 5 in this last term, and David Ugrinik's kicked 3 of them. He's half a chance to get another one if it sneaks out the back there, but Dickey's got it under control.
And it is cleared by Bowman to Davey. Davey on the half-back flank, plays on, uses his pace to get around, has trouble, but flicks it back into Cunningham. Centres the ball into the, and Giorgio takes a good mark.
Those jumping numbers are getting very hard to call from this side of the ground.
Rolled in the mud that often, these players. It is very difficult, but Giorgio, who started he really did start well, kicks the ball long into the breeze. They set themselves at centre wing, congested, and another throw-up, I'm sure, will take place.
That's really coming up at 5 o'clock. We've got the last quarter between Glenelg West, David Mackay and his band of merry men down there, Kieran Spawn, and also one of my favourite players I stood for many a year in Scotty Salisbury.
It would have wrapped you a few times around the back of the head, wouldn't he?
Yes, I remember the first night game I played with him. It was his first game. He was about 26 years old, Scotty Salisbury. I gave him a bit of a clip behind the back of the ears, not knowing what he was like. Just returned and smacked one right on the end of the jaw. I never did it again to him.
Actually, I was talking to Scotty Salisbury the other day, and he was saying that you were quite often in these conditions were not so, you found it a little difficult to match up on you.
I used to love
kept running to the
conditions.
spaces.
Where the green grass was at home.
Get out of the mud.
This ball is on centre wing, and it's just bouncing around. There's nothing really happening. Some updates. North Adelaide, gee, they've got a tight one.
Game down there.
Yes, the Panthers are threatening. Port Adelaide are holding Sturt at bay. And as we just said, at about 5 to 5 this evening, don't turn those televisions off because we'll be going down to Glenelg West Adelaide and we'll be getting a news update. We'll have a look at the AFL scores, goal kickers, the whole box and dice.
Norwood clear the ball on centre wing. Irvin on the left foot uses the ball poorly in the end as it goes out of bounds on the full. And the Stephen Hall, the Eagles defender, who has played very, very well, will send his side back into attack. Through Neiman. Neiman with possession uses the ball long into the centre of the ground, but it's Keating who has set himself under. So it's Ruckman to Ruckman. And number 18 for the Norwood Redlegs, Aaron Keating with the helmet. Handballs off to Davey. Davey playing on the half-back flank today. Gets rid of it across to the centre member's wing, but it is Colville who has read it well. Colville has been very, very good, the red-headed youngster for the Eagles. Flicks it into his captain, Rogers. Rogers quickly, the ball carries into the Eagles forward line, and it's Keating who kicks it wide. Davey reads the race to the ball. Morfitt, tremendous desperation, has been good after quarter time, Morfitt. and another throw-up will take place. Keating has been tremendous on and off interchange and is having a great duel with Bailey and Neiman.
Speaking of getting an advantage, the Eagles have got it, and they've got it with Jason Spear at centre half forward. Now, Jason left the ground in the second term. We thought he was hurt. Clearly the balance wasn't quite right, but it's just one of a multitude of manoeuvres that Bruce Winter has made throughout the day. If you were with us earlier, you would have seen a discussion with Bruce and a discussion about Bruce, and we felt that really his test of coaching has been right on the line as Spear puts it through. That's just about put the game without question beyond Norwood now. They get their 11th, but certainly Bruce Winter has had his coaching tested in 1995, and I guess he's feeling better about it this year.
Yes, he has. He's just got himself a good little combination with his side at the moment. He's got Bailey, who's come into the side this year, and also Colville, who's started to get a bit more experience. But Brucey Winter would be very pleased with this effort.
The Eagles by 5 goals. Out of the glue pot it comes. Donald Dickey off the ground. Leading was to the ball, the Eagles defence, but it's cleared by Norwood again. They put it through Harvey. He's tied up by Rogers. Flicked out again to Pearce on the left hand, and they clear it again through Hall. Left foot kick looking for, but intercepted by Norwood. Picked up by... Flicked on to the advantage of the Eagles, and he just slipped unfortunately. Unfortunately slipped Browning, and Davey just tied him up. Good decision by the umpire.
Yeah, it was a good decision by the umpire. The Norwood player also, I think, went over. He slipped. Didn't really have control of the Eagles player, and a very good decision for a ball up.
30 points the difference. And as we have another ball up, Mark, you're about to shoot off and find someone to talk to. You might just give us your opinion about how at the 20-minute mark the Eagles can be 5 goals in front because they look shot at half-time.
Well, the player right there on screen that we just saw, Big David Neiman's had a fantastic second half. You can see him getting a free kick here, but along with the other experienced players and Pays and Scotty Morford has given them a target up forward. They really have been very damaging. You can see once again Morford just feeding the ball out. The Eagles' experienced players are the ones that have controlled this game in the second half, but I've also been impressed with a young player that's come on, a bloke called Michael Axon. He really has revelled in these conditions. He's just loaded the ground and really has had a couple of good, valuable possessions and has cut a player out of the game.
Well, that's the positive side of it, but on the other side, Ken, Norwood have lost the asset, or at least the advantage they had with Giorgio and Cunningham and the midfielders, McIntosh, who were excellent in that first 60 minutes.
Yes, they've been closed down, and the Eagles have responded with 11 goals to Norwood's 3 since about the 7-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, first 3. I think they went the 2nd-minute mark, the 4th-minute mark, and then the 6th. So they really opened up in a blaze of glory, but it's been pretty ordinary since from their point of view.
This fellow McClure has been good as well as he forces the ball into the Eagles forward line. And emerging with the put-it ball is Hannum, who left foot snap is unsuccessful. And another point goes on the board for the Eagles. 11 goals, 9, 75. They lead by 31 points. Norwood, 6 goals, 8, 44. Dan Tokia to kick in as he has all day. Passes the ball deep into the pocket. And we see Robinson, the recipient.
Coming up, of course, as you have just seen, the Glenelg are playing West Adelaide. Both are sitting perilously within reach of the finals. West Adelaide presently have the spot that Glenelg want, and I guess North Adelaide want it as well. So it really is going to be an important last 30 minutes down there as Cunningham gets well wrapped up and goes for holding the ball. Back here at Woodville Oval, the Eagles are going to give themselves 9 and 5 and draw level at least on games with Norwood. So this is also an important game in terms of getting a double chance. Well,
it's one of those games which are worth 2. Like, had Norwood won it, they would have been 2 games clear, but now they're on level pegging with the Eagles, who are really full of confidence here in this last quarter. Bassett turns on his left foot, back again, gets caught, ties himself in knots, but is able to get the ball clear. Not running with the ball is Nathan Irvin, puts the ball up to Miller direction, unsuccessful in getting it, and is cleared again by the Eagles. Rogers, cool under pressure, picks it up, dodges around Miller, holds his footing well, and puts the ball back to Sheldrick. No.
Spoiled away. Jason Spear has been excellent. Excellent in the second half, that is. Now, who's that going crook on the mark? Looks like Bassett. Has he got good reason to be upset or not? I think the umpire called it a throw. But anyway, the Eagles are in charge now in the dying stages of this round 16 clash. And one the Eagles are going to relish tonight because they've knocked over a side who looked cherry ripe in bowling over Port Adelaide last week. The talk of the town during the week. And they've come to Woodville Oval, just down here off Port Road, and they've been really hurt.
South trailing North by only 2 points.
Can they break through?
Can they break through? Exactly. Sturt trailing Port by 22.
And their other game is that Glenelg-West Adelaide game. Here at Woodville Oval, the game is beyond Norwood's reach now. They were 24 points in front, the Legs, at quarter time, 15 points in front at half time. They had it whittled away to 9 points at three-quarter time. And then something happened. They left early. And the Eagles have stormed back for their 9th win of the season. The other thing, of course, Ken, is that not only have they drawn level with Norwood, but Port Adelaide are going to be on the same number of wins, so the double chance battle is also a hot one.
Red hot it is for the second position in the SANFL competition, as another throw-up will take place here at the Woodville Oval. In difficult conditions, there's been a lot of this throughout the course of the day. Keating competes, is flicked down to Christensen. Nice handball up, perhaps too quick to Sphere. Dickey, who's been good after half-time, through to Giorgio, and wrapped up well, Giorgio, and another throw-up to take place.
11-9 to 6-8. One of the criticisms of the Eagles is that they've not really got an enormous scoring power. They've been holding sides and doing their share of winning, but not kicking a big score. Well, I'd venture to say that on a day like this, 11's pretty good. I'm
sure Bruce Winter would be very, very happy with 11 goals, particularly after Norwood opened with the first 3 of the game. So their work rate has been enormous. And around these congested packs, their tackling and their use of the football really has been something special since about the first half of the first quarter, as another throw-up takes place yet again.
Not much left in the game, except for a few possessions and maybe a bit of percentage that might be important come the last round and determining who is going to finish in their various spots in that top 5. Central aren't safe by any means. They look okay at the top, but this game will hurt Norwood in terms of trying to track them down. And the Eagles coach Bruce Winter sitting on screen. I said earlier that he left the ground at half-time seething, really seething, and gave the umpires, it would seem, a spray. But he seems a little happier now.
He'd be a little more content, wouldn't he, seeing his side in excess of 5 goals in front late into the last quarter.
When it's muddy like this and it's cold like this and the game's over like this, you really, as a player, just want to get the heck out of there, don't you?
First into the hot showers.
If you can find one. That's it. Right on cue. The timekeeper, in fact, I'm not sure that it was full time, but he said, forget it, let's go. Let's get out of here because it's a bit cool. So 11-9 to 6-8 at 31 points. Ken, just give us a summary of how the Eagles worked their way back into it when they were 24 points down at quarter time.
Well, it's exactly those words. They did work themselves back into it. They closed down Giorgio, Harvey, Cunningham, and they waited for the tiring legs of McIntosh and Rowe to expire. And they really did take over.